We ready to rock?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Good evening. Thank you for a little bit of grace as we took a little bit more time to get going, so I appreciate your patience. That being said, Pastor McClure, if you would be so kind.
Be here in your presence, care out the business out. Mayor and our council, to move forward in progress, peace, power. We're so grateful for all that you're doing for the city of Ironton. Praying that God keep us moving in the right direction under your anointing, accomplishing all that you put on the heart of this man to do. We're thankful for who you are. In Jesus' name, tonight, all business be conducted in such a way that honor and glory give you praise.
Amen.
Ready? Pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor McClure. All right, we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Roll call, Councilwoman Cuellar.
Here.
Councilman Box.
Here.
Councilman Sims.
Here.
And myself present as well. Let's the record reflect that Council London is not with us this evening. That being said, now I'd ask for an approval of the minutes for the regular city council meeting for November the 6th of 2024.
Motion to approve the minutes from council meeting of October 15th, 2024.
Second.
Motion, second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Now it is time to address the bills. If we could move, someone can make a motion for the approval of the current bills.
Council President's body, I have some
Yes,
handouts.
ma'am.
And our city clerk isn't here this evening, but I will be sending her this information in a digital file.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. With the documentation accepted from Councilwoman Cuellar, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve the current bills in the amount of $1,773,352.19.
We have a motion.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Sims. All in favor?
Aye.
I'll abstain, please.
Fair enough. One abstention by Councilwoman Cuellar. All right. With the minutes approved and the bills paid, Mayor, time for your report. You have the floor, sir.
Well, first of all, I want to say good evening to everyone.
Good evening.
Wow, with all these folks in here, that's the strongest good evening we can get. I'm going to try it one more time. Thank you, Denise. That's my friend, Denise, true to form. Denise has spoken for everybody, so I'll just proceed with my report. Let me see. There are only two things report-wise I wanted to talk about. That's on Saturday, we will have the first bazaar here in the city of Irondale, and it will be at the Irondale Civic Center. The doors open at 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock on Saturday, and it's from 12 to 4 on Sunday. There are at least 80 vendors that's going to be a part of the event. I want to make sure that everyone come out, bring a lot of cash, credit cards, PayPal, whatever you got. I'm quite sure they would appreciate it, but everything that you can think of, you'll have an opportunity to be able to see it at the event. Also, if you're at home on tomorrow, today our very own David Brasher was on ABC 3340 talking about the honey that he's going to be able to sell there. And then we're going to have someone on tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. So stay tuned at 9 o'clock if you want to see some of the vendors that's going to be there. Also on December the 6th, we're going to have our Christmas parade. It begins at 6 o'clock. It'll start at the Irondale Community School. We will go down 16th Street, swing a left on the 78, take 78 all the way down to 20th Street, swing a left on 20th Street, and we will conclude the parade here at City Hall. We also will light the trees. At the same time, there will be hot cocoa as well. Good time to be able to come out, fellowship with your neighbors, get a chance to be able to meet someone that maybe you didn't know. But we also just want you to come out and to be able to celebrate Christmas with us. But we realize what's the true reason for the season, and we want to be able to kick it off the first Friday in December. My next thing is I have several proclamations. The only problem is I don't have my assistants here today, so I don't have the proclamations, but I'll work my way through it. The first one that I wanted to talk to you all about, this came to me through Jeff Harris, that's sitting back there on the third row behind Ms. Pike. He brought me a business card to share with me that if you all see the Christmas tree in the White House this year, guess who's responsible for putting the Christmas tree in the White House this year?
Awesome.
You all can guess. It's okay.
That guy?
Not Jeff. Jeff works on cars, so he won't be putting the Christmas tree there. But he thought that it would be fitting to share with me the person that is doing it. And his name is Sam Cartner. He lives in the city of Irondale. He has a tree farm in North Carolina. And because his tree farm is in the western part of North Carolina, we all know what happened during the hurricane to that area. And his Christmas tree was selected to be at the White House. He's not here with us today because he was too busy cutting down Christmas trees and getting ready for everything after the Thanksgiving season. But if you all would do me a favor, I'm going to start with you all to see this business card. Can you please make sure it make it back to the mayor? But Jade, if you would pass that out for me, we'd appreciate it. Also, we wanted to had a proclamation to be able to declare the last week in November as Farmers Week, to be able to celebrate the farms area. It was a mayor, I think he's from the western side of town, and he had this that he wanted to promote. Although we don't have a lot of large farming in Jefferson County, we do have it. So we would like to, here in the city of Irondale, recognize the last week in November as Farmers Week. And my last presentation will be, we've had our 7th class of individuals to graduate through the Citizen Engagement Institute. The Institute is designed to give citizens an opportunity to be able to learn about municipal government. For 4 weeks or 5 weeks, we have all of our departments to come and to share with the citizens what they do. So you'll have an idea if you have a problem, you have a need, you'll know exactly who to contact. I've invited those citizens that participated through the last class. They graduated on November the 7th, and they will tell you not only did they learn a lot of information about the city, but they ate very well for 6 nights. So we make sure that we feed them very well. At this time, I'm just going to ask them if they would come down to the front. They had one individual that was going, or 2 individuals that were going to be spokespersons. I don't know if they are here, but if they are not here, guess what? I get a chance to select one of you out of the group to be able to do it. So if you all would come down to the front, if you're here, and if you were a part of that class. We had 28 individuals to sign up, and 24 of them actually completed the class. And if you can see that they have the slogan that is now the tagline for the city, building community, building the future. Now, do I have someone that wants to be the spokesperson for the group? Well, before I get one of them to speak, I do want to say this. How many people out there, when you were 16 years old, were thinking, well, how many of you all, when you were in high school, is that okay? Okay. Was thinking about being civic minded? Well, John, you are an anomaly and an outlier, but the rest of us wasn't thinking that. But this young lady right here, I don't even think she has a driver's license, but she was a part of the group. She was very inquisitive about what was going on at the city of Irondale. And she was so impressive to the point that I told her that as soon as you want to start your internship here at the city of Irondale, just let me know, because we got a place for you. Now, y'all deserves a clap. All right, so who's gonna be the Who's gonna be the spokesperson? Come on, Nikki. Nikki, you gonna speak?
We learned a lot. The city clerk runs the show. Dispatch is amazing and works pretty well. They do way more than just answer the phone. We have good, safe water. We have a great fire chief over here. And yeah, there's a lot of other things, but I was not prepared for this.
Well, I want to thank Nikki for sharing. She was put on the spot. There were two other individuals that had speeches, but they didn't make it tonight. But just want to thank you all for going through the class. This next year, we'll have it twice. We'll have a class in April, and we'll also have another class in October. Stay tuned. If you haven't been through it, it'll be a treat. You'll really learn about what goes on in the city of Irondale. And you won't have to rely on Facebook to be able to provide you with information, because you'll know where to go. You'll know where you can go to be able to find it yourself. At this time, I'll turn it over to our fire chief. He has some presentations that he wants to make for the fire department. And once he's finished this, Council President, this will conclude my report.
Huh? It's not working? Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'd first like to thank you all for being here this evening as we gather to honor a remarkable group of individuals. Tonight, we're here to recognize the outstanding members of the Irondale Fire Department who performed life-saving actions to help a member of our community. Irondale is a community known for its values, compassion, resilience, and unity. The values are not just words, they are lived out by the people here every day, and especially by those who serve our city. On October the 12th, 2024, these firefighters responded to a call where every second mattered. A citizen, Roy Myers, was in need of immediate medical assistance. In a moment of urgency, these team members performed CPR and life-saving interventions with skill and precision. Their quick actions and teamwork gave this person the best possible chance, and ultimately, they saved a life. These firefighters didn't just respond to a call, they showed what it truly means to be a protector, a responder, and a neighbor. Their actions demonstrate the highest qualities we value in our department: readiness, resilience, and unwavering commitment to the safety and well-being of others. This is what it means to be a part of the Irondale Fire Department and our community, acting with courage and compassion every single day. To each of the firefighters being recognized tonight, thank you. Thank you for your dedication, your skill, and showing us all what it means to serve with excellence. We are immensely proud to work alongside you, and we are grateful for everything you do to keep Irondale safe. Next, I will call up Lieutenant Robert Thompson, our EMS officer.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming tonight. I'd like to thank the mayor and the council for allowing us to do this tonight. I know you guys are conducting a business meeting, but we're here to celebrate Mr. Roy Myers. Let me start by saying what an amazing job the crew did that responded that day. They showed up and did exactly what they were supposed to do and what they're trained to do. Statistically, when we run this type of call, Mr. Myers had between a 1 and 10% chance of walking out of the hospital completely normal with no deficits. I say 1 and 10% because it depends on what source that you read. If I remember correctly, when I met Mr. Myers, he told me that the doctor had told him that he had a 1% chance of being where he is today. Now, I will say that their percentages are small. It's not because we don't do proper care all the time, but the reality of it is we can show up and do everything perfect. The outcome can be the opposite sometimes. I believe Mr. Myers is here today, A, because we did a fantastic job performing emergency medicine that the crew did, and B, because God still has a plan for you, and he wasn't ready for you to go. Mr. Myers, I don't know the call on your life, but it's not yet finished. And we're so happy to be here tonight to celebrate you.
At this time, I would like to invite the firefighters up that were a part of the call. And Mr. Myers and your family. Right there. Would y'all like to say anything?
I would like to thank each and every one of you. You did an amazing job. I just knew he was gone, but thanks to you, he's back. And we greatly, deeply appreciate each one of you. Thank you.
I personally want to thank every one of you. I don't remember what happened, but when I woke up 2 days later, first thing I heard was that Vanderbilt had beat Alabama. So I wonder what kind of drugs they gave me. But anyway, from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much. Thank you.
Let this evening serve as a reminder to all of us the importance of working together, supporting one another, and always striving to be the best versions of ourselves. This award represents not only what you did on October 12th, but also the spirit of the entire Irondale Fire Department, a spirit of service, integrity, and commitment. And at this time, we are going to present these employees with a life-saving medal that Mr. Myers will hand out, and we also have letters of commendation for each of them. We'll start. You want to start on this end? This end we have firefighter paramedic Brandon Garner. Firefighter EMT Early. Firefighter paramedic Cates. Firefighter EMT Gibson. Captain McLaughlin. Firefighter paramedic Price. And firefighter paramedic, apparatus operator Hill. We'd also just like to thank the community, the mayor, the city council, everyone that supports us and allows us to be able to do the training that we do, to get the equipment that we have, and to be able to be the best that we can be. This is the best city, hands down, to work for. I have the best group of people that I get to serve with, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. So thank you all for what you do to support us.
Good evening. For the ones who don't know me, I'm Lieutenant David Brasher with the Fire Department. Tonight was something that I just wanted to recap on some things that, you know, we have a phenomenal group of guys that serve each and every one of you, and I promise you, we make an impact on someone's life every day. Because if you think about it, when you dial 911, that's the worst time in someone's life. You know, and it's horrible. So we're there, and the group that we have with us is amazing, hands down. I've been in the fire service for a total of 27 years now, and I've seen a lot of people, and the talent, the skills that we have in the fire department, hands down, the best in the region, and all the departments that I've been at. So I just wanted to recap and just say that y'all are well protected. Have an amazing crew on the fire and the police that serve, and like I said, we do the best that we can. We train, we keep our training at the top of level. We go beyond the minimum, because the minimum to us is just a benchmark. We're going to knock that out, and we're going to excel and set standards. So with that being said, thank you for the fire department, the crews that we have here. And the other thing I wanted to capitalize on tonight is the fact that in the past month, I've had the opportunity to travel far north in the state to Florence, far south to the Orange Beach. And I was wearing the fire department shirt with Irondale, and Irondale stood out amongst everyone. They were like, "Oh, you're from Irondale." It's no longer the fire department. We were blazing trails for the fire department. Now it's the city. The city is making a known presence amongst the state. I hear it. They're like, "How are y'all doing this? Y'all are just absolutely amazing." So, you know, with that being said, I know sometimes we may not agree on everything. That's fine. We're individuals, but you know what? At the end of the day, we are here at home in Irondale. So we need to embrace that. Be appreciative and be thankful for what we've got, because there's places out there has nothing compared to what we have. So it's important for us to kind of come together and just realize what we do have as a city. We have an extraordinary mayor. A mayor is just beyond a phenomenal fire chief and a distinguished council. You know, with that, we have a recipe for success. We're going to go places. We're making our mark. Last thing I want to talk about is last week I was a part of the International Food Festival at Grantswood Community School, where they celebrated the different countries. We had over a dozen countries represented just in Grantswood Elementary School that came out and made food that represents their country. And the diversity that we have with that is just amazing, to have that many people come to Irondale. And I took the opportunity to talk to some of the families. Why did you come to Irondale? You know, some just came here for relocation for jobs. It's the other ones that told me we looked at it, we researched, and it has everything that a family would want. That says a lot, you know, and I'm so thankful and blessed to be a part of an amazing city, and I would not trade it for the world. And I just wanted to share that with you, because I'm out in the public, I'm in the schools, I see and hear a lot. And to see that and know that I'm a part of that, it's amazing. So, like I said, I just want to share that with you. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council, for the opportunity to serve and work here. I look forward, and I hope I'm here for a long time.
All right, with that concluding mayor's report, we'll go ahead and slip into our council member reports. Councilwoman Cuellar.
Thank you, Council President Spivey. Good evening, and thank you for attending our council meeting this evening. First, I would like to thank our Public Works team members, Michael Price and Anthony Bolden. Unbeknownst to many of you here this evening, we had water leaking over the dais from the rainfall, and they stepped up quickly and took care of the problem so that we could have our meeting on time at 6 p.m. this evening. So I want to thank these two gentlemen. They're a wonderful part of the Public Works team, and if you see them, give them a pat on the back, because they are an outstanding group of men. The second thing is I would like to report on our redistricting session that took place on December the 5th, just for the sake of clarification, because residents have been inquiring about the redistricting of our voting plan map to alleviate some of the confusion. During our council work session that was held this past October the 22nd. Residents were invited to provide feedback on the proposed maps. Now, our city attorney provided council members with guidelines, and we were to come prepared to do the following two things: discuss the maps that would cause minimal disruption to all districts, and secondly, consider any proposed changes that would result in minimal disruption. Now, during our discussions, I presented two very minor changes for consideration. The goal of these changes was to slightly increase the populations in districts 4 and 5, while ensuring that the other districts remained unaffected. All council members, Mr. Isom from the Regional Planning Commission, and our city attorney received copies of my proposed changes. Now, one council member initially did not examine the handout I provided and quickly alleged that my proposed change would place him in another council member's district. However, after reviewing my proposal, he realized that this allegation was incorrect. Unfortunately, he did not correct or retract his false claim, which led a resident to come to our first public hearing, held this past November 5th, and repeat this misinformation before the council. I want to clarify that there was no intent to gerrymander any council member into another district, and I respectfully request that this false information cease, as it is causing anger, confusion, division, and significant harm within our Irondale community. And I ask you, please get this word out. We've had some wonderful sessions this evening. Our wonderful fire department, great action that they took, the service that they provided. Our Community Engagement Institute, where several residents have now come to learn more about governance in our city. All of these things are good, but let's curtail the misinformation because it does no good. And anytime it's misinformation, it does disturb the peace. And I want to make sure that we get this record straight. The second thing I'd like to do is I'd like a request for clarification on our redistricting process, because residents again are asking, and I need to ask, are we having a second public hearing tonight, Council President?
Normally it wouldn't be a Q&A, but I was going to get to the housekeeping
Okay,
piece
why
of
don't we
it
wait
tonight.
and I'll let you cover that, okay?
Fair enough, thank you.
All right, thank you, Council President.
Yes, ma'am.
And finally, I'd like to wish everybody that's here tonight a very happy Thanksgiving and safe travels during the holiday season. This concludes my report, but council, I would like to note that there was one member of our nonprofit organization, Mr. John Schoen, who asked that I give a report on the two projects that they've got going on in Irondale, which is Christmas in Irondale. And you will find the donation boxes at city facilities and businesses. And the reason that they do this, they've been doing it for 37 years, is to help those less fortunate in the city of Irondale with donations of new toys, dry and canned food. And you're also, they're also soliciting tax deductible checks that can be made payable to the XCI Foundation. If you like additional information, you can call 205-317-0168. And they will be giving out these toys and food items to the less fortunate 1 week before Christmas. So please help them out in this worthwhile effort. When you come in the entrance, there was a box that was there, but we have it, the box is located at other city buildings. I think there's one at the library and perhaps at our fire stations. I'm not sure about the fire stations, but if you need any more, just call them at their number and they'll be happy to send you in the right direction. This concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Box?
Thanks, Council President. Looking over my notes real quick, the Tinsel Department, oh, wait a minute, wrong notes. Sorry about that, I got a little confused. There will be pictures with Santa Claus on December the 6th, after the parade. And also, like to congratulate our new director of the Senior Citizen Center. She's really getting her feet wet and going hard there. Councilwoman Cuellar pretty much covered a lot of accolades for public safety. I think we can never give them enough for police and fire. And then our public works. Still going through some growing pains on when you can or what you can do with your garbage, but I promise you, if you contact City Hall, they'll get you squared away. Even if maybe you've had an overload day, always good. What we've finally gotten our neighborhood to do and a couple of others is, if you're going to have a party, if you've got a big event coming, just contact City Hall and let them know, so that way they can either get everything or send a second truck back out. And that's all I have tonight, Council President.
Thank you for that. Councilman Sims?
Good evening, everybody. Let's see, December 10th will be the Holiday Gardens Neighborhood Association annual, I guess, Christmas dinner. It'll be a potluck. And I hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving. If you're traveling, be safe. And that's all I have.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you very much for coming and joining us this evening. I'll start with answering Councilwoman Cuellar's inquiry. What I would like to do is basically have another public hearing on the redistricting tonight, and not have a vote on the map, since we are not fully represented with our peer Councilman London being absent.
I just have a question though.
Okay.
Could we go through the first reading and not move on to the next step, so that it's simply postponed? And when we have the next hearing, we could then proceed. And the reason that I'm asking for this is because all of us have been told that as long as we get this done 6 months before the election, that we're going to be good. But we've also got some time constraints that we've got to work with. And that is involved in getting our finalized redistricting plan to the Jefferson County Board of Registrars.
And
office.
I'll go ahead and
Okay.
answer your question.
Good.
I
If
would
I can just
never-
finish, I did talk with the Secretary of
This
State.
is actually my report. You yielded
Okay,
this to
all
me.
right.
Thank you. And I will do my best to explain. And I understand your rationale. I've talked to the city attorney about a lot of this in depth. I would love nothing more than to have this finalized the first meeting of next month. Okay, that's my desire. I would never hold a vote of this magnitude, whether it was the first reading or the second reading, if any of my peers were absent. So I'm holding this back because Councilman London's not with us. I would do the same if you were not with us. I wouldn't proceed with the first reading, only because that changes the structure of what that second reading is going to look like. So I would not do that for any of y'all if y'all are missing. So I would just want to be fair, above reproach, and completely transparent as we navigate the finality of this process.
Thank you, Council President.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
reason I'm bringing it up is we also need to take into account residents that are considering running for election. And in talking with the Secretary of State, that's what he was saying. I asked him, could we contact you? And he said, not until you get the redistricting plan to the Jefferson County Board of Registrars. They have to do their work. They then send it to us. And so that's the reason I'm asking the question, so that everyone who's thinking of running for office, please know that we're not keeping you or trying to hold you back by not providing you and enabling you to get the most current information on the redistricting areas, so that you'll know which ones, who are the people that live in the areas, the district where you're thinking of running for office.
Thank you.
I just want to make sure that everybody's clear on that.
I would love nothing more than that final vote to be transmitted to them on the first Wednesday of December. Thank you. To conclude my report, nothing much to really say. We've had a lot of great presentations tonight. Obviously, housekeeping rules, I'll do that real quick. Our typical city clerk is not with us, so often Miss Lee, she'll know your name, she'll know where you live and everything like that. Our wonderful fill-in city clerk with our law office here does not have that information or know that information. So there are slips that are on the back there. If you're going to speak either on non-agenda items, agenda items or during these, what feels like 15 public hearings that we have tonight, if you're going to speak on any of those, I need a slip filled out with a name and an address, okay, before you begin. And so if you need to grab one, feel free to do so. And then I'll allow you to state your name, state your address, settle into the podium, and then we'll enforce the 2-minute timer tonight. All right, fair enough? That's the
Council-
housekeeping piece. When it comes to comments, we'll get into obviously non-agenda comments momentarily. That'll be kind of our first order of business. Then we'll go through the agenda. We'll approve the agenda, and then at that time, we'll accept comments on agenda items only. So all the items that we've just deliberated, we'll go through those in a separate comment section. Still want the slips for both. Then we're going to get into the public hearings. I do not want to have in general, so the public hearings are an agenda item. I recognize that. But I would really prefer to isolate any comments on that specific public hearing to that public hearing, okay? Just so we can kind of focus our energy on what you're saying to us. So as you can see on your agenda, if you have it, in the regular portion, there are a few public hearings. We will move in and out of those separately, okay? So just wait for the public hearing that you're concerned about, and then we'll ask for a presenter. We'll hear from the presenter. The council will make some comments, ask some questions, and then at that point where we're satisfied and we have our questions asked, then we will start asking, we will start taking comments for the yay or for the nay, depending on what that public hearing is. Is that clear, or did I just completely muddy that up? Are we good? Outstanding. All right,
Council
perfect.
President Spidey?
Yes, ma'am.
Our city attorney mentioned that item 15, the rezoning of property located at 3127 Old Ivy Road, is being removed from our agenda.
Yes, I was going to get to that as we
Okay.
got through it, that we're going to be looking at postponing that item number 15. Yes, sir.
Council President, if you just give me 30 seconds, I forgot to mention that we're still having the sock drive here at the city. Our goal is to collect over 1,000 pairs of socks. We're halfway there. We have 500 socks now and this is just in the city, not from all the other groups that are working. But if there's anybody that would like to participate and to give to the sock drive, we'll have a new recycling can out front, and you can bring those down to City Hall and leave them there. Or if you don't want to give money, you can give $10 or $15. That still will allow us to be able to accomplish the same thing. Thank you.
Thank you. And then to close my report, I just want to thank John Schoen, arms up. I saw you up here. Okay, Miss Linda Schoen. Thank y'all. They invited me out to open up for Gary Palmer at the Veterans Day One Nation Under God breakfast. So that was a great event, and I just always appreciate being invited out for that. So thank you very much, Ms. Schoen and the Exchange Club. I appreciate that opportunity to join y'all. All right, that being said, we were past all of our reports. At this time, we would take public comments to the council on non-agenda items. So if it's printed on the piece of paper, not your turn. Anything that's not printed on the paper that you would like to comment to.
I'm Mary Scher at 5276 Amber Hills Road. The decorations are going up and they look good. Thank you. Now the tree lighting is coming, but I see the decorations and they do look good. Secondly, though, I had mentioned in just a comment to Councilman Box, it would be nice for the people who are a little more conservative. We could get some kind of a financial outlook on how did we end our year. I know it's not audited, but that's going to be April-ish. Just an unaudited look. Here's our finances. This is how our revenues looked. This is how our expenses looked. This was above. This was below. Just in general, that would put people's. We have this more conservative outlook and this less conservative outlook here. That would just, don't you think that would help people? Put them at ease. At least let them know where they are before our audited financial statements come out. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Any other non-agenda comments to the council? All right, with no more non-agenda items to speak of, we'll go ahead and move into any reports or any non-council committees. Any reports of any boards or non-council committees? All right, fair enough. Yes, ma'am, please. Are you reporting on exchange? Okay, if it's a comment about the agenda, I would say just go ahead and keep it in that position, but if you're keeping to exchange, by all means, this is definitely your time.
Okay, I want to thank Counselor Cuellar for mentioning our Christmas in Irondale. I also wanted to add to that, we do take referrals. Anybody in Irondale that you think is in need of Christmas, we take referrals from people. So the telephone number she gave out, which was 205-317-0168, and it's also exchangeclubofirondale@gmail.com. We get a lot of our referrals from the schools, but if you know anybody in the community that's in need of help, we do collect, we provide food and toys. One other thing, I'm also a member of the Irondale Arts Council, and we have our annual art show on the 13th and 14th of December, and it's in the Restore workshop, which is right next to Dance and Things on Highway 78, and I wanted to mention that.
Yes, ma'am.
It's 2 days. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. We'll go ahead and move through the deliberation of our agenda. All right. Item number 1 on consent would be resolved that resolution 2024 R196 names a road located within the city limits of Irondale on Grants Mill Road between Shady Acres Road and Pine Whispers Drive as Hallmark Way. I understand this, Mayor, it's an unnamed road. There's a developer. We're just naming it that.
Currently, the road is called Benchmark Way.
Benchmark.
And because Benchmark is no longer in that facility, the new owner that will be moving into the building will be Subaru. And they just wanted to have a name that was indicative of who they are, the group that own Subaru that's going to be relocating to the city of Irondale within the next 8 months. It's called the Hallmark Auto Group. That's why we are changing the name to fall in line with the group that is going to be moving into the facility.
Gotcha. Thank you, sir. Councilwoman Cuellar, any questions for Mayor?
No questions.
Councilman Box?
I'm good.
Councilman Sims?
No questions.
And I'm good. We agree to leave this on consent?
Yes.
Outstanding. Item number 2, resolve the resolution 2024 R197 asserts to the vacation of the unopened alley on 22nd Street South, Irondale, Alabama, as requested by the property owner, Shea Brothers LLC. I know, Mr. Cochran, this has your name by it. I believe this is an alley that's not being used. Do you agree with me on that one, Mayor? We're not using it for any city business at all?
We're not. I think that there is there an easement or something, Greg, that is in that, or April's? There's an easement that is in there, but it's nothing that the city is actually using.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Cuellar, any questions on this?
Yeah, questions are requesting the vacation. Are there plans to build something on around that area?
This has to deal with the public hearing that will be coming up about the rezoning for the property for the office building. This vacation is tied into that property. It's the easement that runs in between the two properties.
Okay.
I would say to the mayor's point, even though it is tied to the same property, we're not using the alley or for anything. So even though he still owns all of that property, we're just vacating the alley. We're just getting out of the way. The rezoning will be addressed at a later action. Is that fair? Okay.
Would moving this to the regular agenda enable our residents to speak on this?
They can speak on it regardless of whether it's consent or on regular. It's still an agenda item.
Okay. I'd like them to speak on it.
Okay.
Thank
Fair
you.
enough. Councilman Box?
No, that was all my questions.
Okay.
Addition.
Councilman Sims?
No questions.
Okay. And myself, just to clarify just a little bit, when it comes time to discussion or questions about agenda items only, please understand this block of land is already owned by one group. okay, there is an alley that runs through the kind of the center of that that the city is not using. It's on, plus there's there's an easement there, all right? So yes, it is involved with the same piece of property that will be on a public hearing. But if you want to comment specifically on the alley, do that at the time where we accept comments on agenda items only. If you want to talk about the rezoning, do that during the public hearing. We cool? All right.
Can I
Yes.
clarify one thing? Look at the Google Maps real quick. I mean, it's not paved or anything, correct? It's just all grass.
just on the map.
It's just on paper.
Yeah, it's a grassy spot that the people that own the property is maintaining at the present time. The city doesn't go back there to do anything.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Do we agree to leave this on consent?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Everybody? All right. Item number 3, resolve that resolution 2024 R198 appoints Brent Bloomston as the municipal judge for the city of Irondale and Andrea Graham as the alternative judge in the absence of the municipal judge. Mayor, anything you would like to say here?
I can speak on it for Dana. It's time to re-up for the judge as well as for the judge that will be here in lieu if the regular judge is not here. Their scope has expanded with the amount of work that they're currently doing. You all know that about a couple of years ago, we added the environmental court. Not only are they handling the regular municipal court, but they also have an environmental document that they handle as well. And there's other things that they have to do that the job has grown in scope since we adopted a resolution for it a couple of years ago.
Councilwoman Quayer, any questions for Mayor on this?
No questions.
Councilman Box?
No question. Is Judge Batista no longer available?
Correct.
Okay, thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Councilman Sims?
No questions.
And myself, no questions. Do we agree to leave this on consent?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Item number 4, resolve the resolution 2024 R199 appoints Nicholas Waddle as the municipal prosecutor for the city of Irondale and Roderick Evans as the alternative prosecutor in the absence of the municipal prosecutor for the period from December 1st, 24 to November 4th of 25. Similar comments, Mayor?
Yes, we're just, it was time to re-up for the prosecutor for the city. Dana, who runs the court, decided that she wanted to hire another individual to be able to do it. Rod Evans actually works with Wallace Jordan, so when the regular prosecutor is not here, he fills in for that individual. And we only made the contract run through this term. The next council may want to select somebody else, and we didn't want to bind them by expanding it more than lasting through 25.
Thank you, sir. Councilwoman Quayer, any questions for Mayor?
No questions.
Councilman Box?
No questions.
Councilman Sims?
No questions.
And myself, no questions either. Thank you. We agree to leave that on consent?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Item number 5, resolve the resolution 2024 R200 authorizes Mayor James D. Stewart or his designee to execute an agreement with Philip Dunlap for the provisions of economic development services in the amount not to exceed $1,203.33 per month. Mayor Stewart?
Yes, I wanted to go ahead. It had already been where we had hired Mr. Dunlap to come in to help us with industrial development throughout the city. I wanted to go ahead and renew his contract at least through the next term that I'm here. The reason that I wanted to do that is because we are working to put together an industrial development committee to make sure that we have diversity. Not only are we looking for commercial development, but we also will be looking for industrial development. I will have him and Joe Meads that will be serving on that committee. But some of the things that have transpired since he's been in the office, because you all haven't heard a report or heard me talk about things, but we've gone on several industrial development site tours to be able to get an idea of how to be able to bring industrial development to the city and what will fit. He's consulted with me on several different potential developments for industrial development sites. We had a couple of sites that we were working on with the BBA. to be able to bring to the city of Irondale, but those sites did not materialize. We also worked on identifying all of the industrial sites in the city. So we now have a GIS map that identifies all of the industrial sites in the city of Irondale. And what we are working on, I would say would be the last thing, is to be able to develop an industrial development site plan to see how we can be able to bring companies to come into the city of Irondale that fit what we would like to be able to have here. The goal is to make sure that we have a comprehensive approach to economic development. Not only are we focusing on commercial development, but we also want to make sure that we give industrial development the same love.
Thank you, sir. Councilwoman Cuellar, any questions for Mayor?
No, I mean, the mayor answered. I was wanting some examples because we've had Mr. Dunlop since, I believe it was April 13th of 2021 is when we signed that agreement with him. So this answers my questions. Thank you, Mayor Stewart.
You're welcome.
Councilman Box?
No questions.
Councilman Sims?
No questions.
And no questions for myself. Do we agree to leave this on consent?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Item number 6, resolve the resolution 2024 R201 authorizes the payment of a cash award in the amount of $1,000 to certain city employees in recognition of such employees' exemplary performance as allowed by Alabama Code 11-40-22. We've seen this before. Mayor, do you have any particular names that you're awarding at this moment, or would that be at a later time?
We're not going to award it tonight. I wanted to be able to get approval first. However, I did want to add 7 additional names to this resolution. The reason that I wanted to add it, I mean, it may be some people out there that's moaning or groaning about these individuals while receiving this $1,000. However, you all know that we had a special project that we're putting together to be able to deal with the PFAS issue in the city of Irondale. We ended up purchasing over $700,000 worth of equipment, $151,000 in pipe to put in the ground to be able to make it happen. If you put all of that together, we have spent over $1 million working towards making sure that we can put those filters in the ground to be able to run the water through it to reduce it below the minimum contaminated levels, which is 4 parts per trillion. I said all of that to say, I was over there with them Friday as they were doing the work and basically have tore up the yard over there. I asked Jared, I said, Jared, how much would it cost if we had to bid this project out? He said, Mayor, if we had to bid this project out, it would cost the city $3 million. If we had to bid it out, and you all help me out with the math, we would have had to pay $3 million if we bidded it out. But we've only spent $1 million because we're doing it in-house. And we're doing it with 7 guys. And I'm requesting that you all would award them, because of the great work that they're doing, $7,000. So if I take $3 million, subtract 1, that's savings of 2, and then we take $7,000 and subtract that from that. At the end of the day, we still to the good $1.93000 million. So those are the individuals that, I mean, you can't find a cost savings no better than that. And they are doing an awesome job. I didn't know when I gave Jared the task to do it. I just said, do it. And when I talked to the engineer, he said, Mayor, I know 20 operators in the state of Alabama, and Jared is the only one that I know who would have been able to execute what is going on out there now. And I just think that they should be awarded for that. I was going to take them some pizza for lunch Friday, but I think they'll enjoy getting this $1,000 better than they would them getting a slice of pizza. But those are the 7 people that I wanted to add. I don't have their name, but for the other department, we have Matthew Batson from the police department. We have Greg Colby from the fire department. We have Jared Morris from the water department. We have Jeff Nail from public works. We have Michael Boo Wallace, and he didn't know that he was getting anything tonight, from the public works department. And we have Ashley Williams from the admin department.
Thank you, sir, for that explanation. Councilwoman Cuellar?
We've got it budgeted, don't we, Mayor?
Good question, Councilwoman Cuellar. We don't. I would say that we don't. I mean,
So
it's coming
our-
out of the
our
general
source
fund.
general fund?
It's gonna come out of general
Okay,
fund.
good. I'm good.
Okay. Councilman Box?
No, it looks like 13,000. I think we can afford that.
Councilman Sims?
No, we're rewarding some amazing employees. Thank you.
Absolutely. And I have no questions. I stopped working for pizza a long time ago, so I can appreciate that. We agree to leave this on consent?
Yes.
All right. Item number 7, resolve the resolution 2024-R202 declares the week of December 2nd, 24 through December 6th, 2024 as Teacher Appreciation Week in the city of Irondale and authorizes the donation of $28,000 to Shades Valley High School, Irondale Middle School, Grantswood Community School, Irondale Community School, and JCIB from the FY 24-25 educational budget for the purpose of making individual and equal grants to the teachers within each school out of the amount given for use solely within such teacher's classroom. Mayor Stewart, pretty self-explanatory how you broke it out there, but is there anything you would like to say?
No, I would just say for the last 3 years, we created our own Teacher Appreciation Week, and this is for the teachers to go into the classroom. So all of these funds will be used for the teachers to be able to get things to do in their classroom to be able to support and help the students.
Councilwoman McQuarrie?
Just one question. They'll get equal amounts, will they not?
I want to say, Councilwoman McQuarrie, they're either getting $150 a piece or $200 a piece.
Thank you. That's all.
Councilman Box?
No questions.
Councilman Sims?
No questions.
And no questions. Do we agree to leave this on consent?
Yes.
Yes.
Item number 8, resolve the resolution 2024-R203 names the park located at 301 Ruffner Road, Irondale, Alabama as the Ruffner Park Sports Complex. Pretty self-explanatory. Mayor, anything you would like to say about the ballpark?
The only thing that I would like to say, I give Jared Morris all the credit for, we were sitting trying to, getting ready to order the signs for the park, and we wanted to make sure that we had a name that was reflective of the new park, and he just blurted out of his mouth, the Ruffner Park Sports Complex. So that's what I'm requesting that the council rename it. We still have Ruffner Park in there, but it's more than just a baseball field. It's a sports complex because we're going to be doing flag football, girls softball. We're going to run multi-sports out of there, just in baseball. So we wanted to have a name that reflect all of the different activities that's going to take place at the new facility.
Thank you. Councilwoman McQuarrie?
No questions. Thank you for the explanation, Mayor Stewart.
You're welcome.
Councilman Box?
No, I'm good. I think it's a great idea.
All right. Councilman Sims?
All good. Thank you.
And I'm good as well. We agree to leave this on consent?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. All right, moving into our regular agenda, item 9, a proposed regular agenda. Resolved that resolution 2024-R204 authorizes the purchase of an over-center articulating aerial device from Alltech Industries, Inc. Through Sourcewell in an amount not to exceed $212,015 even. Mr. Pennington, tell us about this interesting sounding device.
Basically called a bucket truck.
A bucket truck.
Our aerial truck for our tree crew. I purchased in 2008, a 1998 international truck for our tree crew that came from Georgia Power that was decommissioned from them. It's the same truck that we're running today. The last 2 years, it's cost us a lot in repairs. This truck goes 60 foot. The truck we're trying to get goes 75 foot. This truck that we're replacing is actually a lineman's truck. It is not a tree truck. And if y'all see us out there working on these trees, just like over here at Ruffner Park, we took out 215-foot trees over there. It's tough to do it out of a bucket truck for a lineman. He needs a smaller bucket that rotates and pivots around. So this truck's been needed for years, but I don't spend any money. But it's got to be now where we got to have it. It's costing us more than it's worth now. I appreciate it. If we have it, it's not funded, it will have to come out of the general fund. But if it's there, I will request it. We get it.
Copy. Councilwoman Cuellar, any questions for Mr. Pennington?
No, thank you for the explanation, Mr. Pennington. He also noted that this truck here has well over, is it 150,000 hours?
100,000 hours.
Yeah,
It only
quite a
has
bit.
88,000, so it's got 119,003 hours. If you equate that into 8 hours a day, you're looking at about 40 years. Georgia Power ran this thing 24 hours a day, it's proven. We got it, we ran it since then. We've had it for 17 years.
And you're gonna hold on to this and have it as a backup.
Yes, this truck that we have now has a jet boom on it, which we set our Christmas tree with. So as long as it will run, we'll use it for our Christmas tree. If something happens with the new truck that I have to go down, we can revert back to this one for an emergency. This truck goes out if tornado comes through, if trees fall at night, this truck goes out and runs. And we only have one. So it's greatly needed.
Thank you, Mr. Pennington.
Councilman Box?
All my questions were answered just then.
Councilman Sims?
No, thank you.
I've got all my questions answered. Thank you very much. We have a fund, which is the general fund, not necessarily a specific line item. Do we agree to move this item to consent?
Can we do that? I was hoping we could. Okay,
Do we all agree to move item 9 to consent?
Sure.
yes.
Okay. Item number 10, resolve that resolution 2024 R205 increases the city portion of the local government health insurance premium for retirees to 84%, with a retiree paying 16% of such premium. We've seen things like this for actively employed. These would be for retired. Mayor Stewart, would you care to say anything about this?
The only thing that I would like to say about it, we held off on doing this when we did the one for the employees. And then I began to receive these emails from the retirees saying, what about us? And we know that it's been difficult. We know about inflation and all the things that goes on with economics that, hey, what they were getting last year is not the same that they will be getting this year. We wanted to make sure that we honor those individuals that have put their blood, sweat, and tears into the city of Irondale by providing them with the same thing that we gave to our current employees. Now, the way that this is going to work, I can give you an approximation, so please don't take this to be the exact amount. I believe that it's going to be in the neighborhood of somewhere between $45,000 to $50,000. The way that this is going to work is, if it's adopted by the city council, we will submit this information to RSA. Then RSA will run this through their calculations to add this to the base of those individuals' retirement. And if we do not give another increase for several years, you're okay with that, right, Howard? Howard's my friend out there. He's a retiree that worked in the fire department, but it will always be there. We just wanted to make sure that, like I said, Howard worked here for a long time. He worked in the city of Irondale, and it's only fair and fitting that we provide them with an increase as well. So that's pretty much about it.
Okay. Councilwoman Cuellar?
The only additions I wanted to make, thank you, Mayor Stewart, for your comments. I did get with the city clerk. I asked her, is this budgeted? She said no, but we can have it come out of the general fund. Said,
Okay.
did want to make that notation.
Okay. Councilman Box?
No, that's good to know, Mayor. I appreciate it. Just curiosity though, how many retirees do we have?
4.
4.
There you go.
Perfect. Excuse me, Councilwoman Cuellar, how many retirees do we have?
I forgot I asked that question too. 4.
Gotcha. Does that satisfy your
That's it.
questions,
Very
Councilman
good.
Box?
Thank
All
you.
right. Councilman
Well,
Sims?
I'm sorry. We got more than 4, but we have 4 that are a part of our
Insurance.
current makeup that we have here at the city.
Okay, thank you, Mayor.
I just wanted to give clarity to it.
Thank you.
I think
Councilman
that
Sims?
covers everything. So, good.
Councilwoman Cuellar, were you advocating for consent with the nature of the budgeting question?
Yeah, since we've got a source.
Okay.
Yes.
Everybody else consent on this item?
Sure.
Sure.
Okay. Outstanding. All right. Similar Item number 11, resolve that resolution 2024 R206 authorizes a cost of living increase of 4% to the compensation of municipal retirees. Similar thought line, Mayor, I'm assuming?
Yes, our wonderful city attorney just corrected me that I spoke to the wrong thing the first time. I should have been speaking to the insurance premiums. So we increased the insurance premiums by 4%. City now picks up 84% of those employees' insurance, and Councilwoman Cuellar was correct. We only have 4 that is on the city's insurance. Now the other one is the cost of living that I gave the long story about. Take that story and put it with this resolution, and I won't repeat it.
Fair enough. Thank you. Councilwoman Cuellar, any questions about this one?
Again, I spoke with the city clerk about it before she took off, and she noted that this is a one-time amount. So it's not going to be monthly. It's a one-time amount. It's not budgeted. Our source is the general fund.
Yes, ma'am. Councilman Box?
No, I'm good with this, and I'm also okay moving it to consent if we
Okay.
can.
Councilman Sims?
Oh, just, do we have an amount estimate for this one? Or
I
is
think
that the
that was
numbers
the-
you gave?
That's the one that I gave
Okay.
the first one, 45 to 50 grand.
Got it.
That goes with this resolution.
All right, no questions and okay with consent.
And I have no questions, and I also agree with consent on item number 11.
Council President,
Yes.
before you move to the public hearings, can I give, for the record, the 7 individuals named from the water department?
Please.
That will be a part of that resolution, so Lauren can record it and we'll have it on record. Those individuals are Tim Johnson, Sean Perkins, Chris Canada, Tucker Cochran, Brody Moon, and James Ellison. And I've already given you all Jared's name. So those will be the 7 employees from the water department.
One comment on that. We live very close to the treatment facility, and I didn't even realize what it was until it was erected. And then I saw the Facebook post, and I was like, wow, that escalated quickly. So, I mean, they literally are really putting the work in super fast.
Yeah, they're doing a very good job.
Yeah. All right, so we will not get into public hearings in this format because obviously we desire to hear some input from y'all. So as we move through the agenda, we will just come back to kind of this spot and we'll take them up one by one. All right, so with all being left on this agenda as public hearings that we're not going to cover right now, I would go ahead and ask for an approval of the form of the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the form of the agenda, which moves items 9, 10, and 11 to the consent agenda.
We have Councilman Sims. I saw you.
We need to go ahead and address the public hearing we're postponing.
I'm sorry.
We're postponing a public hearing. Do we need to address that here?
I guess we can address that here. Right. Yes, I would agree with that. Thank you, Councilman Sims. If you could just retract or reframe.
I'll retract the motion.
Yeah. And reintroduce.
All right, so why don't you go ahead and introduce him, since you made some correction.
Okay, let's see. Make a motion, we approve the form of the agenda with items 9, 10, 11 moved from regular to consent agenda and item 15 being postponed.
Perfect. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. All right. So now that we have a approved agenda, we would go ahead and accept public comments on agenda items only. So all the items we've just discussed, we would accept comments on that. Just once again, if it's the alley, keep it to the alley. If it's a public hearing, keep it to the public hearing. And who's first?
My name is Kim Hartley. I live at 2304 4th Avenue South. I would like to ask y'all to table item number 2, as that does relate to the public hearing. And it's my understanding a lot of the houses in that neighborhood, when people are living in them, they put their garbage in alleyways, as well as maybe trash or yard cuttings for the city to pick up. I know y'all aren't using that alley right now because there's not people living in those houses. But should the public hearing or the council decide not to rezone those properties and they're ultimately sold to individuals that want to live there, those individuals may need to have that alley.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Any other comments on agenda items only? All right. With no more comments on agenda items only, we will go ahead and just double check ourselves. We have everything on consent. All right. So that moves us to our first public hearing, which would be item number 12. This is a second reading. Yes, ma'am. Oh, thank you. Before we move into the public hearings, if I could get a motion to approve consent.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Thank you for that. All right. Now that our consent agenda is approved, we'll go ahead and move into our public hearings. All right. So we have item number 12, which is back. It is a second reading, meaning that we've actually introduced this once before and had one previous public hearing. So it's back again for reconsideration. It would be ordinance 2024-11 rezones the property located at 1568 Alton Road, Irondale, Alabama 35210 from an R2 residential district to I1 light industrial district with the restriction that the property can only be used as a landscaping business. I ask for a motion to move into public hearing.
Motion to move into public hearing.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. So at this time, do we have anybody to present this rezoning? Yes, sir.
I'm not in favor of it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. But if we're just going to look for the person that's presenting it, we're just going to ask for the person that's presenting the rezoning case. We'll accept your comments momentarily. Please. Yes, the floor is yours, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone over here, Mr. Mayor, Irondale City Council members. I'm Freddie Reyes, owner of King Services. The lawn care is a family-owned company. We are working over 14 years in the Greater Birmingham area and surroundings. We are licensed insurance and taxpayers.
If you could speak a little more directly into the
Oh,
microphone.
okay, sorry.
Thank you very much.
We are requesting the zoning, rezoning for 1568 Alton Road from R2 to I1, the light industrial, which is only for landscaping business. We are visiting the neighbors and we explain what is the nature of our requests. And we have the agreements, even with some people like in the first meeting was disagree. But now we have the letters and confirm they agree with me. So that's my request. Thank you.
Thank you. Before you exit the podium, hold. Councilwoman Cuellar, do you have any questions for the presenter?
When you came before the council the first time, we had a map, and I'm sorry, I didn't bring mine with me. Do you by chance have one of those with you?
The
It has-
maps?
Yes.
Yes. Can you bring the folder for me, please?
I apologize for not bringing that. It was a long time ago
Yeah.
when you came before us, and I forgot to bring that with me. Okay? Thank you. Okay. Okay, this helps. You mind if we hold on to this? Just during, okay.
While Councilwoman Cuellar examines the map, Councilman Box, do you have any questions for the gentleman?
No, I have no questions. Everything was answered at the last session for me and looking over my notes.
Okay. Councilman Sims?
Are you done?
Yes. Now, if I may just ask clarity here. All you're wanting to do on this parcel is to, and I'm going back to the notes, is to simply park your landscaping vehicles. There are 3 of them
Yes.
on that parcel. You're not going to be conducting a business or anything like that.
No, we are not retail business. We are not going to attend customers to come in our place. We is basically, I don't want to say, but we are going to basically like storage or parking or equipment. Basically, this is what we are going to use in the
Okay.
area.
All right, legal. It's not in this ordinance the way it's written. Can we add language that specifies that all he can do on this parcel is to park his landscaping vehicles on this lot? Can we add that language? Because I know it was discussed at the P and Z meeting. He's agreed to do that. He also agreed not to bring down the trees, clear the trees
On the back.
in the back part, which is where a property owner lives. And he agreed to leave those trees there as well.
Yeah, they're
Can we
natural.
add that into the ordinance?
What the ordinance currently says is that the property can only be used as a landscaping business. That would actually be
Yeah,
covered
cover.
in what you're talking about without any change. You know, I would not be concerned about not actually doing another notice if we left it as it is. If we're talking about not taking down any trees and actually making that a condition of zoning, that to me is not a zoning, parameter. And so I believe that could be added. But I believe that your first,
Okay.
request falls within, can only be used as a
All right.
landscaping business based upon what he has said. he's going
Okay.
to do.
All right, so if we can add that second part for that property owner, that would be great.
And what would that?
That he would not clear the trees that are in that buffer zone
It's the back,
so that
the
the
back
property
area,
owner
right?
could have privacy.
How large of a buffer zone are we talking about?
I believe it's the entire part of the back side of your parcel.
Yeah, but I think we talking with the guy over there like 20 feet or 30 feet from the back to direction to my.
So 20 feet from the back property line up?
Mhm.
you'd be
Yeah.
fine with that?
Yeah, I mean from the back to this way, right?
Correct, from
Yeah,
back to
yeah,
front.
because it's plenty. Because the back area over there is a hill, so it's no point for me to clean it and nothing over there. And it's also my natural fence, so I don't want to move nothing from there for sure.
So we could say that will not clear trees within a buffer zone consisting of, the back hillside.
Thank you. Yes. Okay.
Councilman Box, any questions?
No, I'm clear.
Councilman Sims?
The first time we were here, we had one of I think the very first house where you pull in that was here. What was her name? Is this the letter we see where she said?
Yeah,
that you
one
agreed to
one
the
of the
fence?
letters is the lady she comes is a neighbor to the next door.
Rocio.
Rocio.
Rocio, yeah.
Okay,
we explained to her, and we even offered to her for her privacy to build a fence on her side. So she was agree with that. That's what she wrote.
Has that
the
fence been
letter.
built yet, or will be?
No. I need to the approval
Got it.
from the city
Okay.
council first.
Okay. No further questions.
And I don't have any other questions either. Okay. All right, at this time, we'll go ahead and take comments to the public on people that are for the rezoning. So if you are for the rezoning, please come up to the mic, state your name and address, and anything you might have to say regarding the for rezoning.
My name is Haiti Martinez. I reside at 4710 Campbell Drive, Irondale 35210, and I am for the rezoning. I see no problem with it.
Thank you. Anyone else for the rezoning? All right, with no other fours, anyone against the rezoning? If you'd like to come to the podium and state your name and address, or I would please state it from there if you'd be so kind, for the record.
I live at 1592 Alton Road. I have two lots out there. One is 1584 Alton Road. One neighbor lives in between his lot and my lot. And I don't think he would be able to move in the middle of a residential section. Can he go and find him a lot somewhere else that's already been commercial?
That would be,
Right in
yeah.
the residential section. You let him in there, there'll be somebody else move in, then there'll be somebody else. And I've been out there 55 years. Across the road from me, used to be all houses over there. Nothing but businesses now, all older, and they're noisy.
Yes, sir. And may you restate your name again, please?
Alvin Dean K, senior.
Yes, sir. All right. Any other comments against the rezoning? Any more comments against the rezoning? Okay. So we've heard for the yays, we've heard for the nays. At this time, I would ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close public hearing.
Second.
All right, motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. We'll go ahead and move into the next public hearing. Okay, so there's that. Item number 13, ordained that ordinance 2024-19 rezones the properties located at 601 20th Street South and 603 20th Street South, Irondale, Alabama 35210 from O Office District to C2 Commercial District, and rezones the properties located at 2201 5th Terrace South and 2205 5th Terrace South, Irondale, Alabama 35210 from an R2 residential district to C2 commercial district. I ask that we move into a public hearing.
Move that we enter a public hearing.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. At this time, do we have anyone to present this case to us? Please.
My name is Chris Rebels. I'm the architect for the Shays, who are hoping to build an office space on the property referenced in the zoning request. We do have some visuals of what we're proposing to put on the space. As I'm sure most people know, the Shays are longtime business owners in Irondale and own a lot of property. They have commissioned Christopher Architecture and Interiors, who I represent, to design and build what they believe would be both architecturally and as a neighbor and a business owner in the community, a facility that would enhance both the community and the entire city. They have painstakingly gone through several design iterations, and we took feedback at the zoning meeting from many of the community members to address some of the concerns associated with the building. The building will be oriented towards 20th Street, and then on the back side of the property, we will have a pervious grass parking lot with a 8-foot hedge along the parking lot with street lights that orient down, which we have provided literature to represent the street lights.
Thank you very much. I'm assuming that the pictures on the board are copies of pictures of what we have in front of us.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Councilwoman Cuellar, any questions for the gentleman?
Has there been an effort to meet with the residents that are around the area to discuss what you're planning to do, and has there been that effort made? Because I've heard from several of them, and I'm wondering if you've made an effort to reach out to them.
At the zoning hearing, there were several residents in attendance, and I had business cards. We stood outside in the rain and spoke for probably 20 or 30 minutes. We talked about some of the concerns. We felt like in that interaction, it was very cordial, and the comments that were made to us from the design standpoint, we addressed in the design iterations that you see presented.
Okay.
We did feel like those who were there representing some adjacent neighbors were amenable to the presentation and the subsequent design iterations that are presented.
Thank you. That's all my questions.
Councilman Box?
Really, the only question two questions and a comment. The hedge you're saying is 8 feet. Is there a way that you could possibly go 12 to maybe 16 on there, which would essentially and effectively block the view of most of the parking lot from some individuals that don't want to look at the parking lot?
Yes, sir. I think that our clients would certainly accommodate that request.
And secondly, the visibility from Highway 78 from this building, I understand it's not exactly on 78, but it should be very visible from 78, this brand new building. Is that correct?
I do think you can catch some of it, but I'm not sure. I have not done any aerial studies to in all honesty, to be able to say yay or nay on that.
Well, it basically looks like it's at least 2 stories, maybe a little taller with a parapet wall, things like that.
It is 2 stories, yes, sir, okay, with a minimal parapet, but we've stayed obviously within the ordinances for height restrictions and whatnot.
All right, very good. That's all my question, Council President.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Sims?
Thank you for being here. Your grass parking lot there is pretty impressive. I don't know that I've ever seen that. Will every parking space be this?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Every additional new parking space would be a pervious surface.
The hedge blocking, I mean, I think that's moving in the direction that might work. I don't know. That building looks amazing. I see we have 2 different kinds, like more of a stone and more of a brick. Do you know which they're leaning towards, or?
The brick, in fact, the brick is going to be a Alabama sourced reclaimed brick. And again, look, as an architect, and I don't want to sound, I'm sure there's folks that represent the community that might not believe this, but we have tried at every turn to address some of the stated concerns in the previous hearing, and one of those was just being respectful of the history of Irondale, and so we were able to source some brick that was from a cotton mill and be beautiful reclaimed brick, and it's very expensive, but the building owners, the business owners are, they're committed. They want to do something nice for Irondale. They want to do something nice on 20th, and I believe that the expense and the time that they've taken to design something that would be an asset to the community is reflective of that commitment. So,
I know, architect, you're on the front end, but do you know if there's any timelines of should this be approved, when stuff might start and how long it might take?
if approved, we believe that construction would commence in the first quarter of 25, and it would probably be a 14 to 16 month process.
And I don't know if you know this, it looks like it's just an office building. The front lot's currently zoned office. Do you know why it's going to C2 and not stay in that office?
I do not know that. I believe that was what the zoning board recommended for us. But, I think there's certainly, from our vantage point, we would be, respectful of any suggestions from the council on what might be most appropriate. And I believe this is common knowledge, but the effort to rezone to one property to create a new plat is not an effort to fill the property with commercial buildings. It's the parking lot would always be a grass surface parking lot, and the building would be always on the 20th Street side. But the effort to basically create a complementary and contiguous zoning is representative of their sort of desire to appropriately zone it for its current usage, which is an office now.
Right.
The houses that are there are offices. The temporary building is an office. So
I know in some of the emails we got, some of the residents were like, once we zone something commercial, who knows what happens in the future? And I thought office might be a little bit more of a compromise, possibly, that everyone could agree on.
I don't see any problem with that. I just don't know. Honestly, I'm not an expert in that level, but if it's appropriate for the usage, then I think everybody would be fine with that.
Thank you. No more at this time.
Thank you, sir. Real quick, legal, if we proposed, after hearing some of the comments and everything, if we proposed, and a suggestion would be to take a look at the office rezoning over the C2, that would have to restart the process and renotice and all that. Would that have to go back through PNC, or would it just come to us for an initial action after the notice period? Okay, copy that. So just put that in your thinking caps. I do have one question for you. Looking at this picture here, you've got the red block and you've got the green block, the red one being on 20th and the green being on 5th Terrace.
Yes, sir.
That break in between them, is that what is depicted right there?
No, sir. It's right behind the building where the alley is now, as a matter of fact. So
Okay.
the alley, and again, to assuage concerns about building over the alley, whether vacated or not, there is a sewer easement there. So that in perpetuity, there would not be any building on that area unless some rerouting of a sewer or something else happened. But there's zero intention of that. So.
Right, I understand. I didn't mean to be extremely legalistic in where
Yeah.
I was trying to get you to put things on the map per se. I'm just looking at traffic patterns.
Yes, sir.
So if we've got people coming into that parking lot, it looks like they're going to be entering from not necessarily the 5th Terrace. They would come in on 20th, make the right, go around the corner, and then come into the alley and access the parking lot. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. That is
Okay.
absolutely. And they can also come in off of 20th on the is it the east side?
The
Alex?
existing
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So
got
that
it.
will connect back.
Okay. I'd still be very interested in to hearing more from the citizens and everything, but I appreciate the feedback that you've given me thus far.
Council President Spivey, can I just ask one more question?
Yes, ma'am.
The homes that are currently there, are those homes gonna remain? Or are you gonna remove those homes?
The one home that is north of the development where the parking lot is, which is abandoned, would be raised. The other homes, I do not know and do not believe that there's any intention of raising those homes.
Okay. So
I believe that they
those
would
would be
stay.
the homes on 20, let's see, 5th Avenue South. I believe that's the street address.
You're talking about the Fifth Terrace South?
5th Terrace South.
Okay.
Those homes on 5th Terrace South, there's 2 of them there. Those would remain?
I believe that.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I believe so.
Except for the house on the corner.
Yeah, that's correct. Yes.
Okay.
So the house that is on 22nd which has been vacant for a while, would be raised.
Did that answer your question,
Yes,
Councilman McQuarrie?
thank you.
Okay, gotcha. Any other questions for the gentleman before we move on to public comments? Thank you very much for your time, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would have one question, but it's really more for our legal. Remaining in a C2 commercial, April, would this allow for any equipment storage or anything like that to go on any of this property that is rezoned, if it's rezoned C2?
In a C2, could they store equipment?
Cranes, material, things like that, making a lay down yard out of it.
Just get right back to
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. All right, at this time, we would look for any comments for the rezoning. Any comments for the rezoning? All right, we'll now accept comments against the rezoning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Denise, if you'll let legal provide the answer.
the answer to that would be
They would be able to.
store equipment there under a C2.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Ms. Denise?
My name is Denise Wright, and I live at 2135 Fifth Terrace South, and my house sits on the corner of 22nd Street and Fifth Terrace, and across the street will be the parking lot. I'm very opposed to the parking lot being there because you're encroaching into a historical neighborhood. And, you know, I've lived there for many years, and it's always been residential. It's been commercial down on 20th Street. We need for it to stay on 20th Street and not encroach into the historical area. And, you know, if anybody even thinks about a parking lot, who wants to wake up every morning to a parking lot? Who wants to go to bed looking at a parking lot? The employees of the Shea Brothers, they're there 8 to 5. They don't have to look at it. We do. And so do my neighbors that live around. And we're all opposed to it being rezoned to C2, and we're opposed to the parking lot. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments against the rezoning?
My name is William Hickman. I live at 2302 4th Avenue South. I'm against it because I stare at a parking lot every day at work. I don't want to stare at a parking lot. I just bought a $200,000 house. I don't want to stare at a parking lot from my house whenever I'm off. Sounds to me that maybe he shouldn't have gone and bought residential property, you know, wanting to do commercial stuff on it. Maybe he should have gone and done it in a commercial, you know, in the commercial district. I think it's going to be just nothing but trouble for me. And we'll see nothing but lights. He says that, you know, the lights are going to be low base where they don't come off on the, you know, off the property. Lights are lights. I do lighting professionally, and when they're on, they shine everywhere. It means it's lit up. That means it's going to be an eyesore. Not only is that, but then you have parking lot there, you know, just a good place for riffraff to come through, you know, camp out, do whatever. I don't want that in my neighborhood. I don't want my granddaughter around that, you know. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Any other? Okay.
My name is Elizabeth Albritton. I live at 2303 4th Avenue South. I went through this nightmare before when he had put the ball field. Came home from work. My entire house was completely lit as if it were Birmingham Towers. To no avail. That came down, but in essence, we have nothing but constant service vehicles that are already there at night, at all hours, whenever they come. I'm assuming where they park is in the Harpersville location, but they are absolutely using the Irondale location for their convenience. Again, at what point is encroachment allowed in a historical district? It's a little contradictory to all of the residents that love this area. We're very close knit, but for someone to feel as if they can have the privilege to advertise for endorsement purposes, adjacent enhancement and what have you with the historical district, but in essence, it's not going to do anything for the aesthetics. And in terms of property value, I don't want to have the flood zone. I don't want to have to get into all of this. They've already created a great deal of that. And when all of that construction took place with the ball field, the street kept sinking, and we were promised by the city it was going to be repaved to no avail. It just continues to sink. So, I mean, that's a constant commute already for residents. It's an outlet and an inlet. And I can't believe that we have come to this point. I don't know who the marketing individual is for Irondale, but seriously, someone needs to consider in terms of any type of industrial property. I did marketing for a living, and I don't understand why anyone hasn't. We have so many post-COVID that are just there vacant. Why encroach in a residential area? What at any point in any of this is going to enhance our value? We'd never be able to sell our home because I live 2 streets over, and this is what I'm going to have to look at the back of it.
Thank you. Any other comments against the rezoning?
I may be slow, but I'll get there. You can see that I'm not as young as I used to be. And when I moved to the location, my name is Gil Claiborne, and I live at 519 20th Street South, just a few doors down from where this proposed office building is going. When we talked to the architect earlier, I understood that it would maintain a residential look. I see nothing residential about that. And it looks very, very much like a commercial building. And we don't need to be living in the middle of a commercial area as my wife and I, grow old and try to ease into what we're coming to. So I oppose the proposal of putting that as a commercial area. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Mary Scherer at 5276 Amber Hills Road. I went down and took a look at this property this afternoon, and I did locate the alley that's not an alley. It looks like the Leaf Place in dirt. It's really can't even see the alley. What I did see is is it Shea Brothers Builders? Two Shea buildings that appear to be more like a home. They do blend in. You're on the corner as you come around the corner. But as you turn down, you'll see homes stacked up here. There's a house, I think it's 2525 something or another. I don't think it's 20th Street, but then you'll see another, there's a big mobile home there. It's a RV type of a home travel trailer. And then there's another house on the up, and this is going to be right across the street. Then I turned right to find the 5th Terrace South properties. There was a a building, a home that looks like it has been vacated. And then beside that is 2205, which looked like somebody was living in there. Might be an office, but it looks like someone's living in there. And I thought, oh my gosh, they're going to build something big enough to take this little 2205 in the corner of all this other massive buildings. It's like, oh my gosh, you'd be suffocated in there. I could not imagine separating out 2205 as a residential area, but yet they're saying that will remain a building. That's going to remain a building. Somebody's living, I think they're living in there. It says it's R2. It looks like they're living in there. And it doesn't sound, it's beautiful. It is beautiful, but maybe should be lowered, look more like the neighborhood.
Thank you.
Once again, my name is Kim Hartley. I live at 2304 4th Avenue South. I'm about 2 blocks, maybe 2.5 blocks away from where this is proposed. Almost all of the houses in that neighborhood are older homes that are single-story bungalow-style houses. This in no way blends in with the neighborhood. It's a neighborhood where people walk their dogs on a regular basis. They walk with their kids. Kids ride bicycles. And having all the traffic that would come with a commercial building right there in the middle of a residential area, I just don't think it's a good idea. I've lived in this neighborhood for years. It's quiet, it's peaceful, and we want to keep it that way. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments against the rezoning? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Rosemary Ferguson, and I live on Fifth Avenue South. And the reason that I would like to see them build somewhere else, I mean, it's a beautiful building, but I would like to see our community stay the same. And we have 3 lots, and one of those lots you can't build on because there's a creek that runs through it. And also across the street where they built those beautiful homes, there's a place that was, I'm not sure exactly who it belongs to, but they just recently cut the grass, and I know the creek runs through there. So that creek has to go on somewhere where you can't build on it. And I would like to live in a peaceful community, you know, where children are safe to play and can enjoy their life, and where my family, that we can grow in the community. And I know for a fact, I know this wonderful mayor over there has utilized some of the buildings and the spaces in Irondale. And so I know that there's possibly other places that they could build this building. And I know across from 20th, there's a complete empty lot over there. And then over there across from the barbecue place where they tore down the motel, that's never been bought or anything yet, you know, to build on. And that, to me, would be more appropriate rather than building in a community that we love and that we would like to maintain and enjoy for the rest of the life that we have. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments against this rezoning? With no other comments against this rezoning, I make a motion, we leave public hearing.
Second.
Motion, second.
Aye.
Not typically, but was there something that you needed to respond to? Please. Okay. We haven't closed the public hearing yet, so we'll. If you feel well, would you like to possibly listen to hers to see if you have anything to contribute? Okay, perfect. Please. Okay, if you can just state your name and your address clearly once you get up to the podium.
My name is Mary Helen Poe, P-O-E. I live at 420 South 23rd Street, Irondale. My concern is that I know Shay. I used to work for an equipment company. I won't tell you who. But I know he has heavy equipment, and that right there, that C2 is gonna allow him to bring all kind of crap in there, and it's gonna be noisy and stuff. I just feel like there's other property in Irondale that he could purchase, because I know he's purchased part of that down there on Fifth Terrace. Mr. Ruth's place. It's a house he bought back after she passed away. That's where he built that ball field and tried to kill her with him playing ball without permission. He's not a very, I don't want to say it's not trustworthy, but he leads you to believe, and then he does the opposite, is what I'm saying. And I just feel like we don't want him in our neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Pope. While she's moving back to her seat, any other comments against the rezoning? Going once, going twice? Sir?
Just two comments relative to some stated concerns. One, the concern about the density, some statements about increased traffic and increased movement in the area. The plan is a net zero increase in personnel. They're planning to transfer their current staff from the two homes and the temporary structure that they currently occupy into this space, and it is all contiguous commercial zoning. So along 20th Street is the proposal, which does fit in with an urban fabric, and some mention of walking dogs and sidewalks and so forth. So the sidewalk does not continue around the corner on 20th, and they are proposing, if you look at the renderings, to create a really almost a park type feel along 20th and up 22nd. And then secondly, relative to some concerns about stormwater management. So by the mandate, both from the city and the requirements from our civil engineers, there would be a net zero. In fact, there would be an increase in stormwater retention and detention and additional pervious areas that it would actually help with the stormwater. There's absolutely no proposal to go north of this building into the historical area and build a structure. It will be a grass parking lot, and I think it's probably appropriate with some concerns to see some of the images that we provided, and the runoff would actually improve with the proposed building. So I just thought it was maybe appropriate just to assuage some concerns that they would actually increase personnel or parking or vehicles. Whether it changes to an office zoning or stays at C2, I think the rationale on C2 was because it was contiguous. I am confident that the Shays would be amenable to that proposal to go to a different zoning if it would accommodate or I don't know these things, but or to attach a provision that would state that no heavy equipment could be placed on the site at any time now or in the future.
With that being said, is this something that you want us to go through and make a decision on as presented tonight, or do you want to advocate for a postponement so you can look at that other, rezoning and seeing if it fits your model?
I think I could say that we would be fine to change it to an office zoning. I don't, as I understand it, unless legal would tell us otherwise, as long as the building could be built under that zoning, then I think I'm at liberty to say that they would be amenable to that.
Okay, so are you advocating a postponement while y'all revisit that process? Or do
I would maybe request some clarification if under the office zoning, if we could do that tonight, fine. If we need to postpone it, I don't know that would be a problem. I might submit to your wisdom on that, or maybe legal counsel on that. If there, are we saying that an office zoning would accommodate this
I still don't
proposal?
know if it would accommodate the crowd. I do know that there's a lot of things in C2 that people are not really interested in the possibilities of manifesting. Your legal, any input? I know our zoning expert is not here with us this evening, and I'm not well versed enough about the difference between C2 and O to really help you make that decision. I would lean on legal a little bit to maybe clarify.
We would need to actually talk to Butch Gerald about that.
Right.
That would actually change the request too, because the two front lots are currently zoned office.
Yes.
So that would only be, asking for a rezoning of the two back lots, which are currently zoned for R2. So that would basically change what he's asking for and take one of them off the table. But I would need for Butch to actually vet that, to look at that. So, a continuance for those purposes would be good.
Okay. Can I ask for an opinion on this with my peers as far as what they would make a recommendation of with our current situation versus what we've learned during this public hearing? A recommendation, I guess, is what I'm asking for. Sure. So I would love to defer to my peers and ask for a recommendation. I
I
just
feel
want to
like
make sure I can ask for a recommendation.
Are you asking for a recommendation on a continuance?
Yes, that's exactly. I'm asking for, based on what everybody's heard tonight, what their recommendation might be as far as this, if we, move this item, or if it's recommended that we pause and then have the office conversation.
And you want to ask?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, that
Okay,
was certainly-
perfect. Thank you. I'm just trying to make sure I stay in my lane. Councilwoman Cuellar, your thoughts on what you've learned and what you've heard this evening?
I think there definitely needs to be pause, but also I want to encourage the gentlemen as well as the owners to please meet with the residents, because that's who I'm hearing. Please talk with them and see what they're amenable to, because I'm looking at the petitions, I'm looking at those that spoke, I was at the P&Z meeting as well, and there was no one that spoke in favor except you and the other gentleman, but everyone else that was there was opposed to it. And I'm always going to listen to the residents, and I'm asking that you please reach out to them, talk with them before moving forward. Those
You're
are my
advocating
comments.
a pause.
Yes.
Okay. Councilman Box?
Yeah, I would I would echo Councilwoman Cuellar's opinions. It's obvious the citizens do not want this. Now, is there a possibility of everybody sitting down together and renegotiating? Because I think this is a beautiful building to replace kind of what's going on there. It is a park-esque kind of visual there for walking dogs and things like that. If you could do something with the parking lot and get with the citizens to do something with the parking lot to make that more of a park a dual purpose that you guys use for parking during business hours, they could use for park at the end of the day. Maybe we could move forward. I definitely think the C2 is out because there would not, there's no desire for any heavy equipment or construction material. So I'm saying let's do a pause, let the neighborhood and the owners get back together and see what they can talk about to further this, because I do think this would be a beautiful building to kind of replace what's going on.
Councilman Sims.
I agree with a lot of what Councilor Bach said about that. Yeah, it's clear that C2. I don't think. Again, anything in the future could happen, and that leaves a lot of doors open. Which is why I asked originally before the meeting about office. Again, I don't know if residents will go for office. I think it would be a easier buffer office versus C2. Again, yeah, same. The building looks amazing. The design looks amazing. The grass parking lot, really cool. We should do that everywhere. I'm assuming it won't get muddy.
That's right. Yes, sir.
It's a rainy day. And again, same as Councilor Cuellar mentioned, I feel like there's a couple hurdles you need to get talking to the local residents about that live right there. But I feel like there's a possibility of overcoming some of that. So I also agree to give some time and see if coming back as an office zoning might actually work.
I would echo that. If we can hit the pause button for a moment of this, let's get with our zoning expert, give them an opportunity to have a conversation with y'all and the owners and see if the office is something that would work with the existing design that you've made. And then we can begin to kind of redigest that as a possible option. I think it strips away some of the concerns that a C2 brings to the table. Whether or not it will be adopted and palatable to the citizens, I know as far as I think we're concerned, I think it would be a little bit more palatable to just the city landscape as a whole. Is that something you would consider doing?
I think so. Yes, sir. What I heard from the community at our zoning hearing when we stood outside was that we sort of felt like we came together and shook hands and everybody felt good. So I had felt at that time handing out cards, call us anytime, here's my cell number, and had the great conversation. After that it was crickets, but we will definitely do our part to try to extend a hand. And then secondly, I think of 6 or 7 comments, 6 of them were more about the parking lot. And I'm not sure while we may have represented it well to the council, maybe we didn't represent it well enough to the community. And you're welcome to walk up and see the rendering. It does represent some of that, but not perfectly. But I might be in trouble with my client, but we'll table it for now. Can we get any kind of reading on what the next hearing would be? Would we be pushed for 30 days, or would it be is there a December hearing? And
I would defer to legal on that. We would need to renotice it as office. 22 days.
Okay. So we're happy to table that for clarification on zoning. And again, please, we want to work with you. It's not an effort. I think you can tell that the Shays want to enhance Irondale. They're not trying to hurt Irondale. They've invested a massive amount of money, and not only in this, but in the community. And maybe there's been some differing challenges historically, but I do think knowing their heart with the city that they really want to do something special here. They could move literally anywhere, but it's, tens of millions of dollars and a substantial investment in Irondale. So I hope that that's represented well in my presentation at the very least. So thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you, sir.
Do you have a card on you, sir?
Hot time this morning.
Oh.
Go jump in my wife's car. So.
Good times. I'm sure I can get your information from the mayor and everything like that, because I would love to have a conversation with you as well.
Maybe I could jot it down.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, sir. Would y'all like this information as well?
Please.
We agree to postpone this?
Yes.
Yes.
He's got my agenda that he's writing on, so that's what I'm not bringing.
17.
Thank you for your time. Would you like some of your illustrations back? Would you like us to retain those?
It's up to you. We can leave with you if you like.
Okay. Do you care to keep them? Okay. Thank you very much.
Yes.
All right. So we've had our public hearing on item number 12. Motion to leave public hearing for item number 13.
Move we
Motion
leave.
to leave.
Motion. I heard a motion to leave.
Second.
And a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. All right. We'll give these guys a moment to get out of the room here. Let's see here. Item number 14, ordain that ordinance 2024-20 rezones the property located at 4671 Appaloosa Drive, Irondale, Alabama 35210 from C1 Commercial District to I1 Light District. Make a motion, we move into a public hearing.
Motion to move into public hearing.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do we have anyone to present item number 14 to us? Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Nice jacket.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Nolan Sanborn. I'm the property owner of 4671 Appaloosa Drive. I want to thank Mr. Greg Cochran and their team at
Council
Irondale.
Let's
Point
go
of
ahead
order,
and pause and give them a moment to get out.
apologize.
No, you're okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for your grace on that. Feel free to resume. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Again, my name is Nolan Sanborn. I'm the owner of 4671 Appaloosa Drive. I want to thank Mr. Cochran and their team at the City of Irondale for helping us work this deal across the finish line. This building is currently C1. Our tenants that are in there are they're in the call it the Fast and Furious business. They're in they have a I guess they're in the how do I describe it? They have a wrapping business of their vehicles. They do a lot of work at the barber track, things like that. And we were advised by the city to change them from C1 to I1. The adjacent property is already I1. It's a great little property right off the side of the highway. So happy to answer any questions about it.
Thank you. Councilwoman Cuellar, any questions for the gentleman?
No questions. I appreciate you explaining what you're currently doing there and why the city advised you to change it from C1 to I1.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Box?
No questions. It's pretty explanatory.
Councilman Sims?
No questions.
And myself, no questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. At this time, we would take any comments for the rezoning of this property. Any comments for the rezoning? Any comments against the rezoning? Any comments against the rezoning? All right. With no further comments, I make a motion that we close our public hearing.
Motion to close public hearing.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. All right. So we got that on there. To Councilman Box's point, item 15 as as Councilman Sims introduced the agenda. Item number 15 will be postponed. We find ourselves at our final item, which is item number 16. We're going to go ahead and one more time listen to concerns that centers around Ordinance 2024-2 that authorizes the selection of plan for redistricting the city and authorizes Mayor James D. Stewart Jr. or his designee to take all necessary steps to effectuate this selection. So once again, not recommending a map number, just hearing about it one more time from y'all, so that we can hopefully take action the first meeting of December. Any comments about the maps?
Move we enter a public hearing.
Thank you. Motion to enter public hearing. Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Councilman Sims. At this time, any comments about the rezoning district maps? Does anybody who hasn't had a chance to speak on it want to talk about a particular map that they would care to select? Okay. Yes,
Wait,
sir.
You got one.
Yeah, you got two. Is this a for or against, or is this just in general?
Just which one do you prefer?
Very good.
Are we allowed to mention the number?
Oh, please. Yes, I'm looking for your recommendation.
Okay, very good. Chubba Bedlick, 5725 Belmont Drive. And I'm in favor of option 2 on the map for the reason that I think it would be least disruptive to all the districts, the other districts. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Bishop Jim Lowe, 3536 Bermuda Drive, and reviewing the maps, having spent some time on it, I do think that map 2 is an ideal map, and just want to speak for that, behalf of that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Any other comments about the proposed redistricting? All right. With no other comments about the proposed redistricting, I would ask that we would close the public hearing.
Motion to close public hearing.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. All right. So once again, not taking any action on 16, just hearing from our citizens on 16. That, since it's on the agenda, legal, as something to possibly take action on, do we need to postpone that, or are we good with what we have done? Okay, so thank you very much. All right, so we finished our consent. At this time, we are back to item number 12. If we could get a motion.
Yes, I make a motion that ordinance 2024-11 be considered read.
Second.
Motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now, at this point, we do not have to worry about the rules of suspending, so this would come back as finally just a movement.
I make a motion that we approve the rezoning request from R2 to I1.
Second.
Motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No opposed, no abstentions. Legal? The restriction
Yes,
of,
with the restriction of the buffer 20 feet away from the property owner that's above. Yes, yes. Thank
and
you.
just a landscaping business as written. Thank you for the clarification.
Thank you, legal.
All right. All right. On item number 13, I think we've reached a consensus. If someone could go ahead and put that on the floor for how we've
I
talked.
move that we postpone and see it again as a office.
Okay.
Second.
Motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Thank you very much for that. That's sufficient legal considering we're not reading it, or I mean, we've already, okay. Perfect. Thank you. And then item number 14, if you would be so kind.
I make a motion that ordinance 2024-20 be considered read.
Second.
Motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion that we suspend all rules that would prevent the immediate consideration of ordinance 2024-20.
Second.
Motion, second, roll call. Councilwoman Quayle?
Yes.
Councilman Box?
Yes.
Councilman Sims?
Yes.
And myself, yes.
I make a motion that ordinance 2024-20 be approved and adopted.
Second.
Motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Item 15 is already postponed as adopted with the agenda. And finally, item number 16. Actually, if we could go ahead, based on legal's recommendation, put it on the floor as recommended. With the postponement.
Move that we postpone ordinance 2024-22 till the first December meeting.
This is 16.
Yes, we are dealing with item number 16, which would be the redistricting. We are postponing that.
He made a motion to postpone. Second?
Motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any nays or abstentions?
No, I'm good with it.
Okay, gotcha, right
No,
on.
I heard what you said, Council. You
Okay.
wanted all members present.
Copy that.
I agree.
Perfect, thank you so much. All right, so that brings us to our very last agenda item. We do not have an executive session this evening, so at this time I would ask for an adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, seconded by, for the
Second.
record, Councilwoman Cuellar. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much for your time this evening. Have a fantastic night.